we're back, and we just finished watching 2020's, I guess, The Old Guard, directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood and based on a graphic novel by Greg Rucka, drawn by Leandro Fernandez. It tells the story of a group of 4 immortal, I guess, mercenaries who have taken a job, and things kind of go south very, very quickly.
I think it escalates.
We're going to try to not spoiler this one up because it's a new...
Oh, it's a new release.
Yeah, so let's try not to spoiler anything up. Well, that's not a spoiler.
Is it not? Okay.
You were being very vague.
Any film where the plot is they go on a mission and everything goes great. That's not a good movie.
Okay. So
something's got to go wrong.
We won't give away too many of the intricacies, but I have not read the graphic novel. And if you're coming into this blindly, I think it is a fantastic action movie offering. So if you're in the mood for a
good quality
action movie, this is it. I'm super, super impressed with it, actually.
Me too.
Yeah. It's Netflix in conjunction with Skydance, and if this was any other time in history, this would have probably been released in a theater and done, I think, really well.
It probably would have done decently.
I think it would have done well. I think, well, depending on when it was released, right? It couldn't go head to head with a Marvel movie because that would crush it.
No, I don't see this as like a summer blockbuster type movie, but it's a good solid action movie.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up an interesting point. You don't think it would be a summer blockbuster, but I feel like the film quality, the set pieces, the fight choreography
was amazing.
All of that combined puts this over of like a Fast and Furious movie.
Well, come on. I mean, yeah, I don't quite get the Fast and Furious fascination.
This was so much better than all of them.
But that's what I mean. But those movies do phenomenally well in the box office. Is it just because of Asia? I mean, I feel like
they do well in America. I think it's just because they have this. It's sort of. They have this reputation of just being like a grand spectacle of. It's almost like you're not really. I don't think a person. I mean, there are those fans who go to see the Fast and Furious films because they're just like, yeah,
right,
muscle cars and guts,
yeah,
But then there's the other people who are watching it because it's just like so ridiculous.
Over the top. Yeah.
Over the top. It's like this is just a nuts summer movie. I mean, people are like flying across highways and going through windshields, and the only thing they have protecting them is a tank top.
Yeah. So okay, but just really quick, I feel like this movie overall is better than those. And full disclosure, I've never ever wanted to see a Fast and Furious movie, and found myself actually watching the last one with Charlize Theron, which was interesting, and being completely absorbed in it. But obviously, it's not Citizen Kane. You're not watching a Fast and Furious movie to learn something or to grow or to be inspired. It's just mind-numbing entertainment, right? But the thing with that movie, and we've had this...
or be inspired.
But I think
that movie changed my life, bro.
Listen, I'm sure some people feel that way about that franchise.
I'm sure there's people with tattoos right now who are just like, I'm
sure they have Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I had to get this because
Toretto's the best.
Fate of the Furious changed my life, bro.
Tangent. We're supposed to be talking about the Old Guard.
Yes. Okay, but okay. Well, so we're going to talk about the Old Guard, but I just want to make this correlation really quick. So, damn it, what was I going to say?
That you think that it's better.
It's better. So the first movie of that Fast and Furious genre, and I'm completely sold on it. Full disclosure. Was the last one with Charlize Theron where she's the heavy. And obviously the scripts are written by 8th graders. And you know what's so funny? And we've had this conversation, you and I, because I forced you to watch it.
Yeah.
After I'd seen it, and I was like this is mind-numbing fun movies, right? I mean, there's nothing more to it, but
film doesn't have to change your life.
No, it doesn't.
You know, and entertain you for an afternoon.
Exactly. But the thing that I wanted to kind of tie it all back to was that for a movie series and or franchise that generates so much money, the special effects in that were subpar.
They're all right.
They're not good.
They're not. I mean, no, they're not like, you know.
Isn't subpar not good? Isn't that what I meant?
I think you're being a little too critical. They're okay. They get by, but they're not. They're not as flawless as you think they would be for a film that
generates that kind of income.
Cash.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. They are not to the level where they should be. And that, to me, sort of takes me out of the story, because it's like...
It's an action...
It's an action movie.
Action.
Okay.
You can't... No. You can't,
okay.
You can't be giving these things this super critical eye. Because if you do, you're just not going to enjoy anything.
No. I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed the crap out of it. I told you, because I think... I don't...
Listen, you know what? We are way... We haven't. This is becoming a Fast and Furious review rather than Old Girl.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's bring it back. I still wanted to. Okay,
we'll review whatever the hell Fast whatever, and we'll. All
right. Well, again, to get off tangent, while I was watching this movie, I kept thinking about Highlander with Christopher Lambert.
I thought of that too.
It's funny because there was a specific scene where I was thinking about that movie, and it's kind of it's an interesting topic because of that special power. I'm trying not to spoil it because it's a new movie.
Well, the teaser and the tagline give away that plot point.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, the fact that the soldier, the Charlize Theron, they are immortal.
Okay,
and that's given away in the trailer for the movie. So we're not blowing this movie away. It's right on the tin, basically.
Okay, so having said that, what were your impressions of it, G? What did you think of it?
Oh, I thought it was really, 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 really good.
What did you like about it?
I liked the fighting a lot, and I liked how that guy died.
Which one?
Don't say anybody dies. I know who you're talking about.
Okay, never mind.
Sorry,
well, there was a couple of deaths in there.
There's many deaths.
Yes,
it's that kind of movie.
This is a rated R film. This is not really for small kids. There is tons of shooting. I think that's fair to say.
I would say, the scope of violence is
not that many gory.
There's a lot of shooting. There's blood.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody gets their hand cut off.
Yes.
Yes.
And there are some, like, I would say the bloodiest parts are sort of like the aftermath scenes. The actual fighting isn't very bloody because it's mainly bop bop bop. And then the guy falls down.
Action.
Yeah, it's a lot of fast action, but very well done.
Yes, I was just going to say, I was going to interject and say.
And sometimes in movies, I can't see what the hell's going on when they fight, and this one was like very well lit, so that's good.
Agreed. The fight choreographer on this film, I probably should have Googled it before we started this. Fantastic job. All the fight scenes in this movie are A1, really well done. Mm-hmm. And is almost like its own set piece to this story. The fighting becomes very integral to the story because these immortals are basically warriors. And
they've been around a long time. They know how to fight, especially Charlize Theron's character.
You said you liked her.
I love her.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, she might be my new favorite.
She has like.
She is like the new action queen.
One major sequence where it's just her taking out,
a lot of people,
a lot of guys.
Yeah,
and just really, really nicely done. Excellent action choreography.
What did you think of the acting, G?
I felt like they were actually people. They weren't actors. It was really, really good.
Very cool. You lost yourself in their performances. Did you have a favorite character?
Andy.
Andy was spectacular.
Forever.
Are people still shooting off fireworks
It
even
sounds
after
like it.
4th of July? Amazing. Olive G, what are your impressions? What did you think of the movie?
It was good.
What did you like about it?
Please do not pay attention to the fireworks. It's just our neighbors.
Being annoying.
Yes, we live in a fireworks-friendly area.
Alright, back to the movie, please.
Yeah.
So who was like your favorite character? Come on, somebody had to have, you had to have been rooting for somebody.
Did you like Andy? The girl. She had the short hair.
Short brown hair.
She had the big.
I like that.
You like the axe.
But I like that girl. What was her name? Gwen.
You like.
You really got to see her.
Okay, you liked her.
But when they actually showed her in battle back
Back
Yeah,
in the
she
day.
was
the
You
last
liked her.
time.
She was. I think when they showed her fighting, she was like using a bow and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
killing people left and right.
She was
Okay.
really good.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it was like down.
Yeah,
bottom.
it's funny. I noticed from the end credits that Charlize Theron is a producer in this, and I have to say, I think I turned to you at one point during the film and said, she is maybe my new favorite actress. We had this conversation once about, and I don't know if we did this in one of the reviews, how when we were younger in the 80s and 90s, action movies were a big deal. Big blockbuster, big summer movies.
Summer revolved around the Schwarzenegger offering.
Absolutely. And I think that it's funny because, she's not new. Charlize Theron is not a new actress. She's been on the scene for a few decades now. And I feel like she's had like this renaissance. She has become like the go-to action chick in these movies. She was Furiosa in Fury Road. She was whatever the character's name is in Atomic Blonde. And she's in this. And you can tell that, obviously I'm sure that there's stunt people involved and stuff, but it seems like she takes on a little bit of the mantle herself.
She's good at that stuff, and I just like from seeing her in comparison to other actors and actresses, she looks like she's big.
Yeah.
So it looks like
she can do some hurt.
It looks like she could bring some punishment to these people and these characters, and that gives it like an
more
added bit of authenticity. Like,
yeah.
In this, and especially in Atomic Blonde,
she was just destroying people
the
left and
fight,
right.
Like the fight scenes in Atomic Blonde were far more like brutal, like fists cracking against faces, and it just looks way more visceral.
And the other thing I wanted to, again, sorry that we're going off on a tangent, but the other thing that I wanted to bring up about Atomic Blonde was I really like that movie, and I like the fact that the hits look like they hurt.
Yeah, that's
she
what I'm
wasn't getting up as quickly. You could tell that she was injured.
That's
she
what
was
that's what I'm talking
and the same
about
thing
that.
kind of here. Right?
Same thing here, but not so much
Not
because
so
it has
much.
that sort of like supernatural
Element
to it, where I would say in that one big sequence where she takes out like all those guys. She takes like maybe one hit, and it's not really even a hit that she like is really rocked by.
Right.
So yeah, that the scenes, the violence in Atomic Blonde was far more visceral. This was no shortcomings to the Old Guard, but the fight scenes in the Old Guard were excellent as well. But Charlize Theron, as I was saying, she looks
like
strong.
an Amazon.
Yeah, like an Amazon.
Yeah,
she was Furiosa.
Yeah, brilliant.
Great job. Yeah, so this is definitely a great showcase for her, this film really
Highlights her.
really lends well to those tough guy chops that she has, or tough gal, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's another thing that I find compelling, because she has become that female action star.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think I don't know anyone else that's doing this.
Yeah, and she's got like a good face for it too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's almost like made for like comic book type fighting.
Yeah,
or
she did Aeon
comic book
Flux,
type characters,
right? Yeah.
Aeon Flux
Yeah.
is garbage.
It's whatever, but still, like, she's
Even
developed
the
this.
source material is garbage.
No, but I'm just saying, she's sort of developed this. Like, who would have thought in 2020 Keanu Reeves is the action guy? He's
Yeah.
John Wick. Like, he revived, I wouldn't say his career. I mean, he's never been away, because he actually consistently works, but he sort of developed this newfound.
He's definitely better than he's ever been. I think.
Yes.
But
That's
once again, we're going on a
on a
tangent.
tangent.
We're
Sorry.
talking about
It's
old
very.
guys.
I mean, we get so excited about movies, so I think.
What about the story? Gee, did you enjoy the story? Was there anything that you were like were you surprised by the story? Were you like, oh, this is good, but you know, I kind of figured this out.
You figured out
I did figure stuff out, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to ruin it.
Yes, this movie just came out, so we're gonna try and
I
be
think
as.
you should put in no spoilers.
We're trying to not spoil this
Spoil
because
it.
this is a new release. Usually
Right.
we review older movies.
Yeah.
Where it's not a big deal.
older.
Yeah, so you try to keep stuff to you in your little head and not.
I could not predict anything.
Everything was good. A surprise. All the twists and turns. Great. Yeah.
And I really liked the plot.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah. The only thing that I wish would have been different was a little bit less music.
I feel like
And-
some of the music was
Annoying or appropriate?
wasn't annoying. It just felt a little bit too like, oh, we got to put a song in here.
Yeah.
Let's get some duty-free music and slap it in there. Some of it felt like, it wasn't like they actually had a composer for this movie and they just bought some.
Yeah,
Secondhand
I don't know the
story.
logistics of that, but I think that bothered me, and I think to me, I'm gonna try not to spoil this, but the heavy. I don't know. He wasn't
You mean the head bad guy?
right.
Okay. Well, okay.
I wish he had been developed a little bit more, or I
But
think
I hated him.
no. I think that's the whole point.
He
You're
was
supposed
very
to hate him.
hateable.
Yes, he was very,
He was
very hateable.
very
But I think.
Yeah, very hateable. Very.
But I think for somebody like that, it should have been more nuanced. Like, God, I know we're going to go off on a tangent again, but Riz Ahmed in Venom was the bad guy, right?
Yes.
His bad guy was a little bit more layered than this. I mean, you still didn't like him, but there was sort of some complexities of that character that made him that way, I think.
Yeah,
That
you know
worked
what?
better.
I could see, yeah, but I think the problem with that was that we just didn't see him enough.
Possibly.
Not Riz Ahmed. I'm talking this character.
The heavy in the old guard.
The head bad guy. I mean, he had his reasonings. He had this is why I'm doing this
Right.
this evil stuff.
because he was trying to do something.
He was trying to do something, and in his mind, of course,
He thought it was dead.
I'm doing good.
Right,
I'm doing
right.
good. But he was going about it in like the most evil, hand wave,
Malicious.
mustache twirling kind of way. It was a little.
It was a little too.
It was like he could have probably
dialed it back a bit.
dialed it back a bit and been a bit less sadistic. I don't know. There was no real reason why this guy was so sadistic.
Right. Yeah.
Or at
Well,
least,
that's what I mean. Like, he
at least
wasn't.
none that we saw.
It didn't feel like he was fleshed out enough. And again, it could have been time constraints because a lot happened in this movie. I feel like you know what? Gina Prince-Bythewood, kudos, because
Is it
you
Gina,
have to.
is it Gina Prince-Bythewood or Gina Prince-Bythewood?
Blythewood, no?
I thought when I read it was By the Wood.
Yeah,
No, I
that
think
was
it's
kind
Blythewood.
of a strange sounding name. And I've heard the name Prince-Bythewood before.
Really? No, I think it's Blythewood. Anyway, so now I should look it up now.
Blythewood.
But my kid is playing with my phone. So, first off, fantastic. More women directors directing action movies. I love it. I love everything about that sentence. Please, big studios, keep it happening. Keep that going.
Gina Prince-Bythewood.
Is it By the Wood?
By the
By-
wood.
I thought it was
Mom.
Blythewood.
There's no L in there at all. Unless it's Bythewood. But to me, I always pronounce it By the Wood. It's English, you know?
Yeah, English is a crazy language. It has
It is a
very
language you speak.
crazy
It is a crazy language.
words that you
All right,
cannot
so-
understand sometimes.
Greg Rucka.
Right.
That's
He's the comic
he's
guy.
the comic guy. He also
Yeah.
wrote the screenplay.
Yeah. She had previously done Love and Basketball. I think there's another movie which I can't remember off the top of my head, but very different types of movies. But you can see her aesthetic, which I thought was interesting. I was thinking about that other movie, the Love and Basketball is Omar Epps and Sanaa Lathan, I think.
The Secret Life of Bees.
Secret Life of
Beyond the
Bees?
Lights.
That movie was horrible.
The Secret Life of Bees.
Yeah.
You've seen that? I don't know.
I don't even
I
remember.
think I've seen it, and the one that I think it was called The Secret Life of Bees sucked so bad I hated it.
Okay.
All right. Well, maybe we'll look at that one at some point.
But
No.
so it's nice to see a woman of color making an action movie, a big scale action movie. So thank you, Netflix and Skydance, for having the faith in her to do it. She did an amazing job.
Great job. Lots of good butt kicking action.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a film to entertain you, I absolutely recommend this. I think
Me too.
everyone else liked it a lot as well. Any other thoughts about this thing before we wrap it up?
No, not really. Like I said, I thought everybody's performance was good. The story was strong. I did have my suspicions about things in the story that did prove absolutely true. Like you mentioned, there were bits where the score of the movie
It felt like a little too much.
I don't say it felt like it was too much. It just didn't feel like up to snuff. It felt, like I said, it just felt like the sort of thing that you would find online if you're looking for free music. Like it's decent, but it's sort of like
I felt like there was too many instances where there was music where there maybe shouldn't have been.
maybe
That was my
maybe the point where
Dang.
she was like when she was sitting there and she puts her headphones in her ears.
Not even that. Like that you would assume something, you hear music, but there was other instances where it was just like, did you really need to put something there? I could have just been like, just kept going with the story. So that bothered me, and then the villain not being fleshed out more.
The villain. I mean, no insult to the guy who played it. He did a great job. He was a scummy guy.
Yes.
He looked. I mean, he had an immensely punchable face.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a bit. I'm trying to find the word. There was no reasoning for why he was that cruel. You do what you do in your life, and you reach a certain position by being the type of guy you are. But still, it was like, why are you taking such glee in this?
Maybe he's just that kind of guy.
But I would like to know,
Right.
why. Like, it really just didn't make sense that a guy like that would be in the position he was in.
No, I agree. I mean, those were my only two takeaways. It didn't diminish the story or the storytelling or the film itself. I thought it was still very strong. It was still tight script. Kudos to Greg Rucka for translating his graphic novel to a very good, tight script. I didn't feel like there was any lag. I feel like the movie moved.
I was never bored.
I was never bored. Yes, I never looked at my phone.
And
So-
it didn't go too fast.
And it didn't go too fast. So that I think that was why maybe that particular character couldn't be fleshed out, because there was a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
She
yeah.
really...
They mainly focused on the actual members of the old guard.
Right, and I think...
Even the ones who didn't really get, like, a ton of screen time, they had...
their moments.
Full backstories and lives told.
Right. That's what I was going to say. There's like a lot of world building here. So I guess I'm assuming there's going to be a sequel, because this, I'm sure, is going to do very well for them.
Well, and they planted the seeds for a sequel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that, yes. I think then they can just hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
And it could either be like more of this or just straight action. It's interesting, again, going off on a tangent. The first Alien, you can look at it and it's a horror movie. The second Aliens, completely different director, different take, different story. It went more into the action genre. And they both are spectacular movies on their own. I really, really enjoyed this. I'm going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it an 8.5.
I'll give it a 7.5.
Oh, interesting.
7.5.
What about you, Jig?
8.75.
8.75. What about you, Olive Jig?
What the hell are you looking at?
I don't know. What are you looking at? Did you
like it? You like it? You got it an 8? Okay.
give it an 8?
No, 9.
You liked
9.
it? You liked it that much? Wow.
9.
Almost perfect.
Almost perfect film. Okay.
It was very, very, very good.
It was very good. And I'm sure if we were living in another time, this would have been the top contender at the box office. This also brings up an interesting question, also going off tangent, that should these companies just release these films? You know, Marvel has a couple in the kitty that are just sitting there. And do they just bite the bullet and release them, or do they really wait until things
People
go
back to theaters,
quote unquote back to normal and people go back to theaters? I mean, I think this is smart. I think if you have something to show, now is the time to do it. And even if you charge people $1.99 or $2.99, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will pay that to see a first movie.
I think if they were going to do it, it would be more like $20.
Fine. And
$20.
I'm sure
For us, that's great, because that's
about
4 people, and it's basically matinee prices.
Right. So I'm hoping that more studios do this.
They did that with that Trolls movie.
Trolls, right, and that did well for them.
It did phenomenally well for them.
So
I think they made more money doing it that way than they were expecting to make in the actual
box office. So I don't know, something for these big studios to think about. I think a lot of people have more time, they're home, and I'm sure people will pay a decent amount of money to be entertained.
And it's cheaper than a theater.
And it's cheaper than a theater.
Which is why I don't think it's going to happen on a grand scale, because the theaters have too much money to lose, and the theaters and the production companies are intertwined with each other.
Sure. Yeah, I mean it's a catch-22, right? Because if they do this, then they're basically hurting all the theater houses. But at the same time, I'm sure people are starved for content. I'm sure people want to see these movies. I think the longer somebody sits on a movie, the interest goes away, right? So I don't know. I mean, again, this has nothing to do with this particular movie, but I do appreciate that Netflix and Skydance decided to put this out on the streaming service so that people could watch it now instead of having to wait for it. Because something that I'm sure as actors, I'm sure something that they've done now, I'm sure that movie was filmed within the last 2 years. Something that they've done now, being released now, is probably preferable to it being released 4 years from now.
Yeah.
So
sitting on a shelf, forgotten.
Right, exactly. So that's it from us, and we'll talk to everyone real soon. Thanks for stopping by. Good night.
Good night.
Nice.